I have had a request to think of sayings that I remember hearing when I was young. This was all triggered off by my saying that my father had a saying which was his philosophy in life. If you worry, you die. If you don't worry, you die. So why worry? Following on from that, I have made a list, and the list has got longer and longer and longer of things that I remember different people saying. First, there's one which my mother was very fond of saying. Never say die until a dead horse kicks you. Nobody has heard of that. Nobody knows where it comes from. Maybe somebody somewhere does. Be interesting to know. My father was a big guy and he ate a lot. He really enjoyed eating. And so because of that, naturally, he did pass wind quite a lot. When my mother objected, he used to say, better an empty house than a bad tenant. My mother did not appreciate that. So then he would follow it up by saying, what do you want me to do? It killed Robert Burns. So of course I was a child and I would be thinking, what's this? And say, what's it got to do with Robert Burns? Yes, it killed Robert Burns. What killed Robert Burns? Because at that time I had no idea what Robert Burns died of. Oh yes, it killed Robert Burns. My mother said, oh, it's rubbish. My father said, yeah, it killed Robert Burns, because you know what he said? He said, let your wind gang free where'er ye be, for keeping it in was the death of me. My mother said, Robert Burns never wrote that, because she was a great fan of Robert Burns. And I have to say, I think probably Robert Burns didn't write it. But that one I think is fairly well known. Some of my other ones apparently are not well known at all. Now, in New Haven, superstitions, because it's a fishing community. And I was always getting a row on a Sunday if I tried to trim a nail. Oh, you can't do that, it's Sunday. You can't do that. Don't cut your nails on a Sunday, or your hair, because that's very unlucky. Because hair or horn should never be shorn on a Sunday morning. If you haven't got time for a full meal, you'll have to make do with a run round the table and a kick at the cat. I think that one's pretty well known. Then New Haven had its own equivalent for charity begins at home, which was our ain fish guts for our ain sea maws. And a sea maw is a seagull, right? So it means keeping everything in the village. If is a very small word with a very big meaning. Someone who is very mean, if he can't take it with him, he won't be going. On hoarding money, you can't take it with you because shrouds don't have pockets. A hairy man's a happy man, and a hairy wife's a witch. Children went around the neighbours' houses at Hogmanay in New Haven and said, rise up, old hen, and shake your feathers, and dinna think that we are beggars. We are bairns out to play. Rise up and gie us our Hogmanay. So I'm guessing it was kind of like guising at Halloween. Then my father's idea of a grace was, roly-poly round the table, eat as much as you are able. When you're done, please leave the table. And he used to say, when you're done, all that should be left is a table. There should be no food left on it. It should all have been eaten. I'm sure you'll remember sayings from your mother, father, granny, grandfather, whatever, and anybody can contribute them, and we'll all be interested to hear them.